Hi, hello, and welcome to the pilot episode of the Death Night Show podcast. This is essentially a podcast with some resemblance to Welcome to Night Vale, but is instead a radio show in a city where mystical and supernatural creatures and events are part of everyday life. The show is hosted by the eponymous Death Knight, DJ Dick Koufax, who fills us in on the news and events happening all over Twixt City, a sprawling metropolis at the heart of the multiverse, a place where all dimensions intersect. This is a place where you'll find familiar races like orcs and elves trying to make a living beside robots and other otherworldly beings. I decided to add this type of podcast as a counter to the usual doom and gloom type of stories I have on my channel, like A Fabula Est Princeps. So yeah, this is pretty much a light-hearted comedy, although it can get heavy-handed in some places, so be warned. Anyway, before we begin, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell for notifications. Now, make yourself comfortable and make sure your favorite drink is close at hand because the show is about to start. Rise and shine, Twixt City. This is your host, DJ DK, dead on your favorite radio station, WOW Twixt City Radio. I hope you kids are already awake because we've got a long day ahead of all of us. It's another magnificent Monday morning in the city of the heart of the cosmos. Get up and get ready for the day because it's 5:30. I know it sucks, but that's life. Or, in my case, undeath for you. Monday always sucks, and that's a fact of life. And undeath, I guess. Anyway, like I said, we've all got a long day ahead of us, so I hope you morning shifters are ready for today's challenges. And yes, you kids, if you can hear my voice out there, it's time to get up and get ready for school. Traffic in the early mornings is already a headache for a lot of commuters heading for work. There's no need to add to all that, don't you guys think? Heck, I barely made it to work on time today when my horse, Boniface, nearly stepped into a crack in the road and broke his leg. You know how problematic that can be since there's not enough flesh on his body to hold that leg together if it ever did break. As for all you workers out there, be you a white collar, blue collar, or spiky leather collar worker, time to get up, eat breakfast, take a bath, and go to work. You don't exactly have to do it in that order, but make sure you don't skip any of those steps. My wife Hattie makes sure I smell good, even if I have been in fact dead for more than 300 years. But I tell you what though, Hattie smells better than I do, and she's been dead for at least 5,000 years. Anyway, before I continue, it's time for the morning news and announcements. The number of people infected by the Dark Plague has risen from 4,000 to roughly 25,000 just last night, according to Twixt City's Health and Mirth Committee. Despite this, Mayor has still refused to shut the city gates to the infernal dimensions where it is believed that the Dark Plague originated from. In a recent statement, Mayor has said that banning infernal citizens from entering Twixt is unfair and uncalled for. After all, according to the mayor, the entire multiverse seems to be having problems with the Dark Plague, which has gone on to affect even the outer borders of the supernal dimensions. Why should we single out infernals when the problem seems to be coming from everywhere? Instead, Mayor urged citizens to focus on living life as normal and avoid practicing illegal and unethical alchemy and witchcraft. This was not met well by critics, and many thought that the mayor never talks about anything else aside from illegal alchemy and witchcraft. This is something I can't help but agree with, as Mayor has yet to introduce a new topic or plan for the city other than kill all alchemists and wizards. Still, I have no real right to comment in any case, as, being undead already, both my wife and I are immune to the Dark Plague. Nonetheless, I'll take this time to make a public health advisory. Please follow the safety and health protocols presented by the Health and Mirth Committee. Please wear a mask and avoid unnecessary physical and spiritual contact with other people. The Dark Plague is a serious illness that can lead to a lot of unpleasantness, including, but not limited to, complete immobility, undeath, or actual death. So please try to stay safe, healthy, and sane today for a safer, healthier, and saner Twixt City. This message is brought to you by the Health and Mirth Committee of Twixt City. In other news, Twixt City Police Department Commissioner Anastasio Nasty Body was caught in a raid conducted by a TCPD SWAT team last night at 10 p.m. at an unfinished building in District 23. Apparently, locals complained of loud noises emanating from the building and immediately called the police, thinking that something illegal was going on inside. They were likely thinking of illegal alchemists working on prescribed potions, but what was actually happening instead was that the police commissioner was celebrating his birthday with his friends and allies. Needless to say, gathering in such large numbers is mandated against by the protocols put forth by the Health and Mirth Committee. After being arrested, Body insisted that he was just having a get-together, not a party. Well, I really don't know about that, Mr. Commissioner. Also, just recently, Mr. Donovan Thatch has demanded another recount of last year's election for what is perhaps the 23rd time. The Thatch camp still insists that Nadine Weiss, current Prime Minister of Twixt City, cheated in the elections and that the victory should have gone to Donovan Thatch. This is a fact that the Weiss camp has vehemently denied and authorities have proven on multiple accounts. That said, Mr. Thatch has stated that he intends to continue the recount until he discovers the truth about the votes of last year's elections. He has stated in briefings that he still cannot accept that he lost by 5% in the elections. Well, good luck with that, Mr. Thatch. In showbiz news, vampire actor Lenny Barton has received large amounts of support from not just his fans, but almost the entire internet, especially from victims of domestic abuse after he lost his case against Kirsten Carradine, his werewolf ex-wife. According to some fans, while both parties had probably committed their share of abuse against one another, it was Miss Carradine who resorted to physical violence first and threatened her husband with witchcraft. Miss Carradine, on the other hand, won the case after it was decided by the court that Mr. Barton simply fell on her claws. This has led to a public outcry for a retrial with a different judge and jury. There have even been calls to begin demonstrating in front of City Hall to make sure that Mr. Barton's case is reconsidered. Now it's time for our message segment. This is where we take messages from different people all over the city and broadcast it live here in WOW Twixt City Radio. This way we can make sure that anyone from anywhere in the city is heard. So this is coming from Charleston McElroy, School Director of Quicksilver High. Students are encouraged to still follow the health and safety protocols of the HMC. This goes double for teachers and staff at the school. The dark plague is not to be underestimated and could potentially endanger the entire city. Well, that I definitely agree with. Mr. McElroy has also insisted that both students and staff be punctual and get up and go to school at the correct time. That's right, kids, the dark plague isn't an excuse for being late. Next, the Dean of Blackwood University, Mr. Ashton Belford, wants students to make sure that they lock the specimen cages in the laboratory before they leave the school. And if they can't find any available specimen cages, please take them home. Just make sure you feed and let them rest in the correct time. Blackwood University will not tolerate a repeat of the Blover incident. Whatever that means, Mr. Belford, and I don't want to know. Oh! Here's an interesting one. This is from Gabriel Desmond, a halfling from Quicksilver High. Dear DJ DK, there is a girl I've been admiring from afar for a very long time now. I'd like to know when is usually the best time to approach her and tell my feelings to her. Oh, that's a hard one, kid. Look, this is something that only you can know. I mean, sure, I can give you advice. I can tell you that it might be a good time to do that when the two of you are alone and when the girl in question isn't busy. Beyond that, though, I think you're gonna have to answer that question on your own. Here's a message from Isabel Hart, librarian of Quicksilver High. Please return your books on time. Oh, that sounds serious. Better do what she says, kids. When a woman sends short but simple messages like that, you know she means business. This last message is from Jonas Merrill, a hobgoblin supervisor for the Imperishable Construction Company. Hey, my wife Hattie works there too. Anyway, Mr. Merrill urges all employees, especially those involved in on-hands operations, to wear their safety harnesses at all times. He knows it's a hassle to put them on, especially with the health protocols included, but better safe than sorry. Well, that I can definitely agree with, Mr. Merrill. Anyway, that's it for this broadcast of the Death Knight Show. I can only stay on air for so long before the network executives get tired of my constant babbling. Besides, up next is everyone's favorite drama, The Oblivion Heresy. I'll see you all again next time at WOW Twixt Radio.